What's going on, guys? Welcome to Rants Red Talk, where we discuss all the topics you send through to me on Twitter. And obviously, it's international break, but yeah, we're still gonna go ahead with the show. And I spoke to Flex as well today because obviously we filmed the Flex and Man show, which will be out tomorrow. And he asked me something because something came up on the show, but he said, "Yo, save it and talk about it as your first question, yeah." And long story short, something come up about David Beckham, innit? I don't know. Some of you lot would already know my opinion on David Beckham as a player. Like, it's definitely a controversial opinion because not a lot of people agree. But I think it just comes down to how you view football, how you like to see football played, and what you rate in terms of attributes with players, isn't it? Like, for instance, with me, when deciding if a player is good or not, pace never really comes into it for the simple fact that pace is not something that you can choose, in it. Like, you're born with pace, bro. Like, it's genetics. There's nothing you can do about it. So I don't rate a man because they're quick. Certain man will pick a man just because they've got pace. I'm not picking someone because they got pace, because anyone can have pace. It's a lottery. You know what I mean? So there's certain things that like other people prioritize when looking at players and things that I don't, in it. It's all opinion at the end of the day. But as a player, like Flex wants to know how I rate him. I thought that he was a player capable of producing great moments, yeah, but he wasn't a great player for me. For me, innit? Like, when I look at his all-round game, I don't think it was that good. I think he had an amazing delivery, like great cross of the ball and great from set pieces. But that's really it. Like there's no other attributes other than that. Like, as I said, he wasn't particularly he wasn't quick at all, like, but he had a good engine. He could get up and down. He wasn't a great tackler. He couldn't really dribble. Like, he was just an exceptional passer of the ball, a manipulator of the football, in it. Like, if given time and space to do that. Like, I think it suits certain teams. If you've got like a deadly finisher in the box, I think having someone like David Beckham is amazing. But if you look at like a passing team, like a Barcelona or whatever, where would you play Beckham? Like, there would be no need for him. Do you see what I mean? So I think that in certain systems, he's a great player to have. A great player to have. But me personally, like, in that era, I'd rather a Luis Figo or something like that than a David Beckham, like on the right hand side, because them man could go past players. They were just more techie for me. Like, in a game of Rondo, yeah, this is how I separate Scholes, Gerrard, and Lampard as football players. In a game of Rondo, who would you want on your team, bruv? You're picking Scholes all day. This little one-touch football and that ain't Gerrard's forte, bruv. He never had that in his locker. Neither did Lampard, bruv. Like, Scholes thrives in them kind of situations. And I just feel like, as a complete footballer, I don't think he was amazing. But what I did think is he had world class delivery. Like, if Bex gets the ball out of his feet and you give him space, bruv, he's putting it on the end of your toe. From a dead ball situation, free kicks and that, he's always a threat. Corners, always a threat. But then people say similar thing about James Ward-Prowse. I feel like Ward-Prowse is just in a different era where the modern day get the ball out wide and cross it in, like, it's not really prominent anymore. If he was playing in an era with proper old-fashioned number nines and that, I think James Ward-Prowse would probably be at a better club than Southampton. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that Bex was just a similar type of player. Like, because when I look at his range, like his different types of passing, he ain't got like the range that like a Kevin De Bruyne has or a Paul Pogba, in terms of they can give you like a driven instep pass, volleyed passes, do you know what I mean? Reverse passes, all of that. Like, Beckham was very good at whipping crosses in, but like, do you know what I mean? He's not gonna kill you with like a 30-yard drilled through ball, like, or outside of the foot or something. I mean, it's just different, bruv. His delivery was just amazing, but I feel like, not in a disrespectful way, I just feel like he was quite one-dimensional as a footballer. Like, if I was a manager, if I wanted to make David Beckham less effective in game, I'll just tell someone to stick tight on him, because he ain't really got the touch and skill to, like, if you dive in, to like beat you and make you look silly and that. Like, he wants to open up his body, get the ball out of his feet, and play it. And if you're on his first touch, more times you'll just make him go back where he came from. And you can kind of take players like that out of the game, if that makes sense, if you understand what I'm saying. And that's, again, that's no disrespect to him. I just feel like he was quite one-dimensional, even though that one dimension was fucking amazing. Don't get me wrong. But like, he when we're talking about like all-time greats at Man United, like for me, he's not in the conversation. And a lot of people seem to think that, because I think the brand Beckham was bigger than the player, if that makes sense. The reason why he played for Real Madrid was because brand Beckham was amazing. He's a galactical brand. But was he on the same level as R9, Zidane, Figo, them? Man? Nah, absolutely not, bro. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. That's just my opinion anyway, bruv. So Flex will get that. I know there'll be a lot of people that like love David Beckham and they'll feel hurt by it and that. But again, that's just my opinion. That's not the opinion. That's not the only opinion. I just don't think that like he was an elite player, bruv. Like, I don't, innit? I don't think that he uses levels with them kind of man there, like the Zizous and that. I don't think you can put Beckham in that situation. I think it's quite disrespectful. Yeah. So yeah, Flex's question got in depth in there. All right. At Clover_Diz, if you were appointed as the United DOF, would you buy into Ollie's current philosophy, or would you suggest alternatives? Oh, would you suggest an alternative? Which players would you advise Ollie to remove, and who he should bring in at United to support your choice of philosophy? I wouldn't buy into Ollie's philosophy because it's shit, bruv. It looks like Ollie's trying to replicate Sir Alex Ferguson's way of playing football. And quite frankly, I think not only is that way of playing football outdated, yeah, but I just feel like Ollie's not a good enough manager to even implement that. So I just don't even understand why he would continue to do that. I think it shows how out of touch he is. How out of touch he is with the game and his training methods, and the fact that all these players are getting all these muscular injuries. Like, it always tells you, what players would I instruct Ollie to remove? It's not that which players are they instructing to remove. I think that Ollie has further unbalanced the squad by the business that he's done. He's come in. We're a team that had loads of defenders anyway. He's bought more defenders. Yeah, I mean, and it's just like, what the fuck, bro? We had like 9 defenders or something like that. Then Ollie came in, he sold Darmian and Smalling, and then brought in 2 more defenders. But then we were short on midfielders, and he didn't buy one, and he sold 2. Do you know what I mean? So I just think that Ollie's a lost cause, to be completely honest. I'm gonna keep it all the way 100 with you, man. It's just, yeah. I'm struggling to kind of comprehend what he's thinking. I would just advise him to resign. That's the easiest thing I could say, bruv, because he don't have it in him to take us where we need to go. At DJ_Andy, are we in danger of missing Poch again, with Ed already showing he prefers yes men and not guys who put his shortcomings forward after Spurs start and his comments about only being the coach? I rated, what the fuck is this, bruv? I think this is the guy that bloody mows the lawn outside, bruv. Why is he gonna mow the lawn, yeah, at this time? All right. I know what you're saying about Pochettino, to be completely honest. Like, Poch openly just come out and was like, listen, I'm only the coach, I'm not the manager. And I think that's a smart thing, because what he's done is he's literally taking all the blame away from himself, which is exactly what you do if you got a pair of balls in it. The reason why I'm blaming Ollie for all of this is because Ollie's come out and said, yo, I'm happy. So because he's come out and said he's happy, bruv, I can only assume that you're happy, bruv. I'm not going to be like, you know what, Ollie's crying behind that mask and, yeah, I mean, he's really hurting inside. Bruv, I can only go on what you told me. You told me you were happy, and if you're happy with the squad, then you're a clown, innit? So, bruv, you just have to die on your own sword. I don't think that we're in danger of missing Poch because of that. I feel like we might be in danger of missing Poch because Ed is just incompetent anyway. But I don't think it will have anything to do with that. At Owazi 2, if Oli buys a midfielder and a striker, do you think he should continue to stay in United? I don't think so. Like, the thing is with me, I feel like he's shown us enough that he's incompetent. Like, he's had over a season's worth of games. Fair enough, it ain't been a whole season, but he's played over 38 games. So I think it's fair to judge him on 38 games. Like, I don't think that it's unfair to be like, oh, he hasn't had a long time. He's had 38 games to implement a style of play, a philosophy, a certain belief system, all of these things that he hasn't implemented. So there's no evidence based on what he's done previously in football that this is a blip and he could turn it around, because he got Cardiff relegated, bruv. So he's already proven that he can fuck the whole base up if you give him enough time. So I feel like giving him time is exactly what we don't do, because giving him time could end up seriously relegating Man here, or putting us in a position where we're 17th like Chelsea, like approaching Christmas, bro, when Mourinho got sacked. Like, there's a very, very strong possibility that could be the case. I don't see what Oli does to redeem himself at this point. I think that he's a dead man walking. Let me know what you think about that question. Do you think signing a midfielder and a striker saves Oli? And also, it depends on what midfielder and what striker, because again, I don't even trust man to pick up the right players. At Moel Maestro 1, bro, it seems like the board and the management don't know what direction to take the club. What's your view on it? I think it's exactly that. I think that in theory, they think they know what they want to do. They want to go for young. They want to go for British. All of that shit. I don't see the need for going British. The young thing I understand, but you can get young, experienced players. Like, this whole 3-year plan bullshit. It's not a 3-year plan, because you only bought 3 players in this one window, yeah? And we need more than 3 players a window, yeah, to do the rebuild that we needed to do. We need to be picking up like 4s and 5s, really, in terms of like making the squad depth good. There's no point having players like Pereira and all them man there, bruv. Like, they're barely squad players. Like, the fact that this man starting week in, week out tells you, yeah, everything you need to know about Manchester United. The levels have dropped like ridiculously, innit? Like, he should be like a player that you bring on in the last 10 minutes or something like that. He should not be starting games. The board don't know what they're doing, because we don't have football men in the board. Whatever Ollie's told them, it sounds good to them because it's probably saving them money. That's why they're prepared to kind of listen to Ollie. But what the fuck does Ollie know about a rebuild? So, honestly, I think that it's the blind leading the blind when it comes to Ollie and Woodward. And I think the best thing that could happen is a DOF can come in and take care of all the footballing sides of stuff, so Ed Woodward doesn't need to be involved. Because right now, he's pissing man off, bro. He's a fucking disgrace, man, and Ollie's useless. Let me know what you think, guys. Gaz Payne, why should Ollie be afforded time to rebuild when Moyes wasn't? Exactly. And Moyes was a Premier League proven manager. Premier League proven for a decade, at least a decade, yeah. Proven in the Premier League at Everton. That's a higher level than Ollie had coached at previously. So he had more credentials than Ollie, and he still wasn't afforded time. But also, that was because that was a Ferguson appointment and not a Glazer appointment. They didn't want to give Moyes the job. Consider the targets that Moyes was looking at. It showed far more promise than Ollie with shit like Rice and Longstaff. Ollie will remain a legend, but he's tactically clueless. I'd much prefer Poch for the rebuild. Absolutely. Man wanted Tony Cruz, yeah, Thiago Alcantara, Gareth Bale. These are the kind of players that Moyes wanted, you know. As much as he's a shit manager, that's what he was looking at. Ollie's out here looking at fucking Longstaff, bro, and Declan Rice, bro. That tells you all you need to know, brother. I don't know. Ollie must think he's managing in the Championship. He's a fucking joker, man. Like, and if Moyes didn't get the time, I know that was political. Ollie don't deserve the time. It's that simple. Like, he's worse than David Moyes. Like, man that are in here backing Ollie, yeah, because he's a legend, yeah. But you don't care about the club as much as you think you do, innit? Because if you did, you wouldn't want to see this club fucking sinking this quickly. Ollie ain't got nothing that can turn this around. And if you genuinely gave a shit, yeah, you'd want man out of there, bruv. You'd want the suffering to stop. What do you think about Ollie's being given more time compared to the David Moyes scenario? I genuinely believe if Liverpool pump United on the weekend and Ollie is literally on the last string. The Green Devil, what other club would give Federico Rasheda 200 bags a week? Man like Rasheda. But that's it. Rashford, it shows how clueless Ed Woodward is here, that Marcus Rashford, a player of his caliber, could be on 200 grand a week. He's not even worth 100. And that can only happen because agents are seeing that Ed Woodward is useless and they're just taking the piss and they are just riding man for everything they're worth. United have got such a high wage bill, yeah, but such low quality. Usually, high wage bill comes with high quality. Our wage bill is a joke. Like, in terms of world football, it's up there, you know, and we don't have the names to show for it. Players like Rashford should never be on 200 bags. That's a madness. So that shows how shit the board are. It shows how shit Ed Woodward is and just how out of touch these men are. And in all honesty, I'm growing very impatient with the whole situation. This just says, is Ollie still at the wheel? Evra's post with Allegri, thoughts? I don't know what to make of that because Evra's been doing this cryptic shit all the time. He's doing his badges at United. And yeah, like, that's it. Mad cryptic, bro. Obviously, him and Allegri got a relationship from Juve. But at the same time, he was saying stuff about, if I was a director of football, I'd get the baller in and I'd do all of this and I'd do all that. So I just don't really know what Evra's playing at the moment, to be fair. Like, I know that Evra's saying, oh, let us help and this, that, and the other. I don't know if let us help is, yo, I'll get Allegri in, yeah, and I'll work with Allegri, like, in that kind of capacity to get players. And I don't know. But Patrice Evra's got way more clout in football than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, blood. Like, man know that, innit? So, I don't really know, fam. I don't really know what that's about, but I wouldn't really want Allegri, bruv. Like, I'd take him, but I wouldn't really want him in it. I don't want pragmatic managers. I think the club need to come away from pragmatic managers. I want a young attacking coach if I can. Let me know what you think about these Allegri Evra things, because I know the internet was getting a bit over that. But me, yeah, I tend to try and not get sucked in by these things. Younger Fug, it says, why does nobody talk about how less money the Glazers gave Ferguson to spend? Everyone acts like once Fergie left, then only the Glazers were a problem. Okay, I see what you're trying to say. No, the Glazers were definitely a problem. Remember, I told you we sold Cristiano Ronaldo for 80 M's, yeah, and in that same window we brought in Owen, Obertan and Valencia, bro. That was a shit window, blood. I think that was 09 or something. So don't get it twisted. The Glazers been fucking with us, but Ferguson was coming out protecting them, saying that there's no value in the market. So we just thought it was down to Ferguson not wanting to spend the money. We don't know if that was the case or not. We really don't know. I can only go on what Ferguson has said. He hasn't come out to the contrary and said, yo, the Glazers were ever a problem. He's always protected them. So again, like, if man want to blame the Glazers for that, then you also equally have to blame Sir Alec and say, you know what? He never told us the full story, what was going on with the Glazers, and he protected them publicly. So, again, a lot of sentiment and emotion won't allow people to do that. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people aren't going to say, you know what? Maybe Ferguson protected them, or like he didn't do certain things that had the club's best interest at heart, like giving us David Moyes and stuff like that. A lot of people can't look past everything that's been achieved and look at it objectively and criticize him. Like, he got things wrong, bruv. Everyone gets things wrong. He's a human being, but a lot of people like are very reluctant to admit that. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes this is just not the kind of conversation you can have with a lot of ignorant people. But I do agree, the Glazers were a problem way before Sir Alec left. Man United for top 4, that's what it says. No, bro. It's not going to happen, bro. You're going to have to change your Twitter name. Did Sir Alex screw us up by picking Moyes in 2013? I think we all know that he did, bro. We all know that he did. Like I said before, previously, yeah, I think it was on the last Flex and Rant show. If Manchester United, you've managed Manchester United for as long as I've been alive, yeah, bruv, it's like, how? How do you pass your baby, your child that you love and that you've nurtured, yeah, to David Moyes? How do you even allow that to happen? Like, bruv, you have to be really disengaged emotionally with the football club to give it to David Moyes. Or the whole Scottish nationalism was just so strong, yeah, that you look past the fact that David Moyes never had nothing that warranted his position at the helm, but you gave it to him because he's Scottish and you saw a little bit of yourself in him, so you just took a risk with him. I feel like Manchester United is not really a club that you kind of take risks with. Nah, I feel like we're above that level. I feel like you just have to give the job to the best man for the job. I don't see how you're playing roulette with the future of Manchester United. Like, I don't know. So yeah, absolutely, I think that he fucked us there. Like, I do. You know what I mean? That doesn't change how I feel about him. I think he's like, bro, he's the greatest manager in the history of the whole fucking game, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, it doesn't change how I see him. It don't tarnish his legacy, but what it does is, like, it does make me question him, like his thought process as a man. I would love to know if there was one question I could ask him. It would be like, what was your thinking behind this David Moyes thing? Like, I would love to know, because I think a lot of fans would like to know. I think that's got to be up there with one of the worst decisions that he's made in football. Let me know what you think. We're almost there. At Kenny NM1, it says, what do you make of Maguire compared to other top centre-back? To be honest, yeah, Harry Maguire is a good centre-back, but that's all he is. And that's why after the World Cup, when there was all this gas saying, oh, we should buy Maguire, Mourinho wanted Maguire, I categorically came out and I said, I ain't seen enough of him in it. Because you know what the English are like. They like to overhype their player. Because remember, Harry was playing in a 3. And it's easier to look better as a centre-back when you're playing in a 3 anyway, because he's a ball-playing centre-back and he's commanding in the air. So Harry Maguire was going to look good in the World Cup anyway. But I said, I want to see one more season of him at Leicester so I can make up my mind. And he's a very good centre-back. Like, he's not of the level of the Van Dijks. He's the level below that. Do you know what I mean? I still think he's a level above Lindelof. I just think, like, the Koulibalys, the Van Dijks, there's not very many of them, the Sergio Ramoses and that. Them man are like the elite level centre-backs. And then Harry Maguire is just a level below that. Now, I don't think he's as good as a lot of people think he is, but he's way better than what we had in it. Like, so I still think that Maguire's a baller. However, he doesn't seem to be in great form at the moment. I don't know why that is. But yeah, like, it is what it is. You're going to get that with a lot of English players. Most of them, man, are overhyped. They get overgassed. Do you know what I mean? When they go for a little purple patch. And yeah, I guess we'll see what Harry Maguire's made of going forward, man. He's a good player. But there was loads of screams for, yeah, give him the captain's armband and all that. I'm like, he's been here for 5 minutes. Like, let him settle in. Let's see what he's really on first. And then we go. But in terms of top centre-backs, he's definitely not there. We have to be honest with ourselves, but he's still a very good centre-back. At gift_spider, it says, you said the board shouldn't have listened to the fans when they were saying give Ollie the job. But if they'd appoint another manager and he'd had a rough start, fans would be saying you should have listened to us and appointed Ollie. I don't think so. Here's an example for you, yeah? Like, fans are fans, innit? Like, regardless of what our opinions are, we are not the guys that get paid to make executive decisions. The guys that get paid to make the executive decisions have to do what's best for the club. Appointing Ollie wasn't what's best for the club. A club the stature of Manchester United, you make sure you have the best of everything. An example, I'll give you a couple of examples. Just like Anthony Joshua lost the fight to Ruiz, yeah? But I'm looking at Anthony Joshua and I'm like, you're the heavyweight champion of the world. So, because of that, you should have the best coach in the world. That's my opinion, because you've got the most money in the sport now. You've got the biggest profile. You've got the most pressure on you. So shouldn't you make sure that everything you're doing behind the scenes is to the top level? Your boxing coach is a fucking GB amateur coach, bruv. Like, he ain't got no experience coaching heavyweights that win world titles. Why don't you have a world-class trainer? You see what I'm trying to say? It's the same with it's just like with like politics and that and Brexit and that. What's the point of having a parliament that's elected, that's supposed to have all the knowledge in the world, if you're then gonna just go to the people, yeah, and get the people to vote on something like Brexit, and most of the people that are voting don't even have a fucking clue what the implications are? Why are you giving a choice to make a decision that could impact the country for years or decades or even centuries to come? Why are you giving like that kind of power to fucking insignificant people, bruv, in the grand scheme of things, bruv? Because we're not paid to know what the right answer is, bruv. That's why we pay you. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So it's just one of them things. You do not give that kind of power to the fans. You don't give that power to the fans. You let the fucking guys that are meant to be the know-how. You're Manchester United. You're the best team or the most powerful team in the world, the biggest team in the world. You should have the best people on the board making the best decisions so we continue to be the best team. Like, there's no, oh, yeah, the fans want Ollie, so we'll give them Ollie. Fuck what the fans want, bruv. The fans want what's best for the club. If the fans wanted Ollie, yeah, and then you got them fucking Pochettino and it wasn't going well, yeah, you have to know that, you know what, I've got this plan, I've got this project, Poch will get it right, this is what's best for the club. Not, oh, let's appease the fans, bruv. You can't appease everyone. So it's not about appeasing the fans, it's about doing the best thing for the club. And United didn't do that because they don't have the right people in place and they're dickheads, bruv. So yeah, some fans might have said you should have listened to us, but in reality, yeah, if there were a man on the board that knew what they were doing, I think fans would have a lot less to say. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And last but not least, at MUFC_youth, it says, would you get Rice in for 60 million? No, bruv. Declan Rice ain't worth 60 million fucking pounds, euros, nothing, bro. He, to me, just looks like another Eric Dyer, bruv. Like one of them bog standard midfielders. Like, he's big, he's strong, he's quite athletic, and he's just basic, bruv. Like, just basic. Like, do you know what I mean? He's better than what we have. Don't get me wrong. I would take Declan Rice, but I'm not taking him for peas. Because 60 million pounds, do you know the kind of midfielder that can get you, like, in today's market? You're mad out here, bruv. Like, Declan Rice is never worth 60 million, bruv. He's probably worth about 35, if I'm honest. He's come from West Ham, who's a shit team anyway, yeah? And he ain't really done nothing in the game. He's young. He's a 35 million pound player, bruv. He is, innit? If I'm ready. 60 million pounds for Declan Rice, bruv. Nah. No thank you, innit? Decent player, but that's all he is. He's decent. You know what I mean? He's a cut above McTominay, but not that much. Do you know what I mean? I don't look at McTominay and look at Declan Rice and be like, yo, this guy's like miles away from McTominay. He's not miles away, brother. McTominay's not worth fucking 50 M's. So how's Rice worth 60? McTominay's not even worth 40 M's. So Rice can't be worth like 60 million. That don't make no sense. I want to know where these valuations come from. I think that clubs just see that Man United have got peas and they're dumb and they'll spend it, and Ed Woodward's a fucking plank. That's why Phil Jones could be on 110 whacks and that. You get me? So, nah, 60 million for Declan Rice is daylight fucking robbery, guys. I wouldn't, but let me know if you would in the comment section. Make sure you smash that like button. Obviously, that was your Rants Red Talk. Make sure you add me up on Twitter and Instagram, guys. As usual, it's been emotional. Flex and Rant show is out tomorrow, 1 o'clock, as usual. 1 o'clock Tuesday, the United stand. And then you got another Rants Red Talk coming on Thursday. Big up yourselves. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all your comments. And yeah, just regularly interacting with the Red Talk, man. The average numbers are going up week by week. And yeah, I appreciate all of you guys. Big up.